Hi, Sage.
Hey, Ron. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing great.
Where are all the adoring fans?
Well, we're early, man. We're like 2 minutes early, buddy.
So have you worked on your pitch since the last week's session?
Obsessively, like totally, and so much, like, here's the book I've been reading. Here's my audio book I've been or I should say listening to, and I bought the Mastermind or the Business Made Simple course through them as well.
Oh.
And, I'm looking into possibly getting like certified. So hey, crazy. Yeah, it's been like flipping my world upside down.
Yeah, that book definitely looked good. It's like I've got a stack of books I committed to read that I haven't touched yet.
The book, I was surprised. It's only I think it was like around 8 hours total.
Oh, really?
And I have to tell you, like, I turn on was mowing the lawn, but I had to stop a couple times while I'm on the lawnmower, like pull out my pocket and like back it up a few seconds. It was crazy. Liz, you're on mute, just so you know. I'm gonna unmute you. Hello.
Oh, there we go.
We muted each other.
I know.
We hit the buttons at the same time.
Yeah. Hi. Did you send me this share my screen thing? It just popped up like it knows I'm a presenter.
No.
Oh, that's so strange.
No, but I am making you a co-host though. You got the power.
I got the power.
You got the power. It's all you.
Yay. And I see my friend Debbie is here. I invited some friends.
Hi, Debbie. Welcome to No Agenda Business Chat.
Welcome. Yay.
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
And of course, where are you coming from, Debbie?
Not really. You're from Cary. I'm from Raleigh. Raleigh, North Carolina.
You're from Raleigh? Oh,
Raleigh.
that's
But
very
we're
cool.
closer to each other than we are to them.
What's that?
Debbie and I are closer to each other than we are to you guys all up north.
That's all right.
I know.
All right, and give me 1 second. Guys, I'm sorry. Give me 1 second here.
So my son taught me a cool thing about Zoom that many of you probably already know, but if you're muted by yourself and the host hasn't muted you, you can hit the space bar to temporarily unmute yourself. This has been like my new favorite thing. I'm like telling everybody. And an 11-year-old told me. That was great.
And now I didn't know.
I love it. We're already starting with teaching. Yay. Oh, I can close this.
Nice to see everybody. And the top of Sage's head. Oh, there he, now lean back. Now he leaned back. Now it's good.
I was practicing my mom's use of using Zoom. She's always like this. What are you guys doing? Yeah,
Right?
Mom, come on.
So mine's the other way. My mom is always right here. And I'm like, hello.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah.
We noticed that older people, they don't change it. They just keep going.
No, I've told her 100 times. She's just like, whatever, as long as I can see you guys. I'm like, hello. It's like,
But I went to see you too.
Yeah, a little bit crazy.
Whitney, what do you have today?
In my beverage, I homebrew kombucha.
Oh,
So
awesome.
this is an apple mint. Homemade.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I got to go back to that one.
It's so good. Sage, I have to talk to you. I months ago, I registered the domain name Yes Booch, and I just haven't done anything with it. But it was like, that's a perfect name. I need to do something.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yes. We need to have a chat too. I made a 10:30 at night purchase last night.
That's never good.
It's awesome. I can't wait to tell people about it. I'm so excited about it. And you guys want to hear about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, okay. All right. It's going to be the next big thing. Interactive video.
Never heard of it.
What's that?
Never heard of it. Don't think it'll catch on.
That's right. I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay. So think about it. Okay. All right. I'm going to use, who should I use? Okay. I'm going to use Richard. I'm going to use you. You guys, my friend there, Armin Hill Group. Change your name so people can see your name. This is Richard. I know him from Nova. So Richard is a private investigator slash server. Do you call it servers? But it's not like a
process server.
A processor. Sorry, yeah, Richard, I'm unmuting you. Processor. So think about if you came to the site and said, "Hey, I'm Richard. What can I help with you today? Or what can I help you with today?" And you have a button on the video say processing. All right, private investigations, public blah blah blah, whatever, and then you click on the button inside the video. It says, "Okay, you need some help with processing." Typically, we work with lawyers and blah 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 about blah 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 blah. Right? Is there anything specific within processing I can help you with? And you have all those questions on there. Right? How cool would that be? So it's like a choose your own adventure video that builds out and talks to people as you go through it all.
Nice.
Yeah, basically video enabled chatbot. Think of it that way.
So you pre-record all of your responses to the questions.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That sounds neat. It sounds like a lot of front loading.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's what you got to do to automate, though, right?
It's so hard. Video engagement has gone down so much because video is so widely used nowadays. So when you're using video engagement, you really have to do a little bit more to stand out. So I personally think it's a really unique way to stand out. And especially if I can tie in my friend who she's this way on my screen and get Whitney in on the conversation as well. So when we build these engagements, it's a story brand engagement at the same time, which, by the way, Whitney, here's what I've been reading too.
Yes. Yes.
It was on my Audible book.
Oh, awesome.
And I did sign up for the business
Building a
Simple
story
class
brand.
as well as some other things too. But
Awesome.
I think that's when you make it and you make the visitor the hero, you could really come up with some really cool dialogues.
You're on it. You're on it, my man. Good job.
Looking forward to joining you in that as you climb that mountain.
I think it's cool. You know what I'm going to do is I have like 400 people on my mailing list. I'm going to make a video like, "Hey, I'm Sage. I just woke up today. What should I do?" And I'll give people like an option, brush your teeth. And I'll have a picture, the video of me brush my teeth. I say like get in a fight. And I'll have like my daughter punch me or something. I don't know. I mean,
Oh my God, I love that.
it's enough to get the message across where people will be like, "Hey, that's kind of cool, right?"
It's a great demonstration. You're shameless.
I am. I think it'd be fun. And I
Love
like
it.
getting punched in the head a few times. It's okay.
Awesome.
All right. Okay, guys, it's 4:06. We have a couple people that are still coming on. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to, actually, I think we have a quorum. So here's what I'm going to do. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We have 12 people. I'm going to split this up into breakout rooms. So I'm going to give 2-person per breakout room. And here's what I want you guys to do. So we're going to do 6 breakout rooms. And I'm going to throw you guys over there. We're going to be over there for 5 minutes. And what I want you guys to do is you have 5 minutes to find something about the person's business that you had no idea that they did. All right. So maybe it's that little fact that we do about our business that we just didn't know about or something else in there. And Debbie, are you a business owner?
I am.
There you go. This is awesome. All right. So something about their business. And if you've never met the person before, then just have a general chat about the person's business just in general. It's not a pitch thing, but it's really something just about your business. And so it can be like for instance, for us, every now and then we have to do some like special things on here for our business. I do something that nobody else knows is I do lead generation where I build a website first and then I find a business later once it's already generating leads to take the fulfillment. And that could be something special. So you guys got 5 minutes, something about the business, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye.
Go now.
I know, right? It's like we're all expecting that.
Now. All right, so now we're here. Everyone else is still doing theirs. This is perfect. All right, so something about that I don't know yet, please. Oops, you're on mute.
We also do mobile notary services. So
Notary
people,
services.
yeah, so people who we've done a lot of recently wills. People, because of COVID-19, are trying to get their affairs in order.
Uh-huh.
And they'll call us or they'll call me and they'll say, you know, hey, we want to do a notary. You know, we want to get some documents notarized, but they don't want to go to, you know, the UPS store or Staples or something like that. You know, or they can't because when they're going to need to do it is going to be after hours, and they have
You
other
just come to people's houses and wherever they are to do
Yeah,
notary.
exactly.
How much does that cost typically? Is that super expensive?
So it depends how soon they want it. Typically, I usually charge like, you know, not less than $75, maybe $100. I've charged as much as $150. Although for the $150 service, I actually brought 2 witnesses. So it was an older couple. They were getting their will and testament, you know, last will and testament in order. And it required that they have 2 witnesses. Well, they didn't want to invite anybody, you know, over to their house, and they didn't really have their children live far away. You know what I'm saying? They didn't necessarily just want to invite people over. So they asked me, I said, well, you know, do the documents require witnesses? And they's like, oh yeah, it does. And then they were like, do you have some that you could bring? So I'm like, sure. You know, so I charge $25 per person for a witness.
That's next level. That's awesome though. That's
Exactly. I mean, that's the ultimate upsell, right?
yeah.
Not the ultimate, but
Hey,
I mean,
I'll take you out. We'll get dinner afterwards. Yeah, right.
you know, and I paid someone $25 just to come and sign a document. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah.
And I mean, you know, there are little niches. The other day I did a refinance. You know, someone was just refinancing his house. He actually lived in North Carolina, and the house was in North Carolina, but he was here in Virginia, down in Lake Anna, and you know, the company called me up. They're like, we need a notary to go down and notarize all these documents for this refinance. I'm like, sure, let's do it.
That's
So
awesome.
you know, I mean, you know, there's so many. It's so broad, you know, the things that I do. You know, I'm going back to a seminary to serve a priest. I went out there one time, but I was getting the runaround. So actually, the attorney filed for an order for alternative service. So now I can just go back, post it on the door, take a picture, and I'm done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nuts.
You know, there's so much variety in this business. You know what I mean? And you know, as long as it's, you know, as long as there's court action going back and forth, there's business.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. So, I mean, you're like, I mean, realistically, you're economy proof. I mean, you're depression proof or recession proof. You're always going to be in the need. And ultimately, as long as you do a good job and get customer service, that snowball is just going to keep going more and more, right?
Right. That's correct. You know, I mean, that's always something that, you know, we can improve upon is customer service. You know what I mean? And I've been in, you know, I've been customer facing for a while, although some of my role with Comcast wasn't necessarily customer facing or direct customer facing, but I've learned that customers aren't necessarily loyal or even appreciative, but still, you know, for those people that you do make a good impact, they're going to tell people, you know.
Well, Comcast is one of the ones. Telecommunications is a hard one because when it's good, you never notice it. You just expect it. Exactly. When it's not good, that's when you have problems. Because I grew up in telecommunications and satellite communications. That's where almost 20 years of experience. Right. And when it's working, nobody cares. They're like, well, it's supposed to work. I'm not like, hey, no, we did a really good job making this work. So it's a tough one. I feel you.
Yeah, it is.
Welcome back, everyone. Richard, that was awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, what did you guys think? Was that enough time to learn something about?
It's fine.
Did you guys enjoy that? All right.
Yeah.
All right. I made sure that I looked in there, I double checked. I was like, okay, we don't have Krista and Kevin in the same room. All right, we're doing pretty good here. All right.
Well, I've got a mouth.
What's that?
I have a bit of a mouth on me at times, Sage. You know that.
That's awesome. No worries. This is a safe place. It's okay. All right, guys. So welcome to No Agenda Business Chat. When I say no agenda, everyone's like, well, wait, no agenda, but you have an agenda. You talk about things. What I really mean is this is not a sales pitch. This is not a salesy meeting on here. Unlike probably the whole rest of our week where we're always trying to worry about our pitch. We're always trying to worry about how we communicate with other people. This is one time where you can let your hair down. You can have that tasty refreshment, whatever you want, and just sit back, build some good relationships. And ultimately what I want to do, and just like Tammy, like you do in yours, is just about strengthening the people and meeting new people and just getting value. That's what it really comes down to. So if you guys can see my screen, again, this is not a pitch session. If there's anything you want to share, feel free to post it in chat, or we have a small group here. You can just bring it up to everyone. When we're talking about things like Liz is going to be talking today, if you guys want to ask any questions, just raise your hand or go on mute and feel free. It's just this is an open group. Right now, we're going to go ahead and do our intros. So if you can, over chat, just put a little bit of, just put your name of who you are, your email address, a sentence about your family. For those of you who are regulars have been on here, you're having to start getting creative. So again, something creative that we don't know about your family life, and then a sentence about your business, please. I'll give you guys a few seconds to do that. Christina, good to see you on.
Likewise.
How are you?
I'm okay.
That is
Trolled through Ask a Manager. I didn't see any crazy ones today.
Oh yeah. So for those of you guys who don't know, Ask a Manager is a blog post where people put all the things on there where they're having struggles with their manager. So they ask someone to say, it's almost like a Dear Abby, but for your workplace. Like, I'm having some workplace stress. So if you guys want to completely just go there for 15 minutes and then blink and lose 3 hours of your time that you'll never get back, it's an amazing site. But I say that with caution because she told me about the site. And next thing I know is I was on there. It was like 8 o'clock. And my wife was like, weren't you supposed to be making dinner tonight? I was like, oh my God, I suck. So I had to go and work on that. But it's a pretty cool
I warned you.
You did warn me. I didn't say I was a smart man.
Because like with some of those letters, it's like, oh, this wouldn't happen at work. And then I got to the one letter where somebody talked about biting a manager, and I'm like, no, that would happen at work.
Biting?
Yeah.
I have wanted to bite a manager, so I
But
can
have
see
you
it.
done
To
it?
bite a manager?
Preschool is vicious.
Or fight?
No, well, yeah, they have like entries where, you know, you got people fighting, but yeah, they had one where the letter writer bit her manager.
Wow.
Wow.
I've seen some crazy stuff, but I've never seen that, I will say.
I worked in autism for 20 years and I never saw it amongst the adults. Once I saw it amongst the adults. Once.
I don't know what to say.
About what?
Brian, you just froze.
Frozen.
If you can hear us, Brian, you are frozen. Oh, poor guy.
He'll come back.
That's kind of like bad too. I don't know what to say, and then freezing on saying that statement at the same time. That's
And
rough.
do
Brian, if you can
notice that
hear
when
us, we can't hear you, buddy.
When people freeze, it's always in the worst like facial position too. You're like,
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you now, Brian.
Thunder. I just had a lightning clap outside my window.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were just really committed to that frozen.
Good, Whitney.
No? Okay.
No, that's good.
Commit to it, man.
Awesome. All right, so it's 4:18. I see everyone putting in chat here. I'm really happy when I'm on a bike or a kayak. Oh, I love that, Whitney. That's great. Ron
Not
Moore.
at the same time.
My son adopted 2 cats, then moved out and left the cats with us. Oh, that's hilarious.
It's not funny at
Oh
all.
my goodness. Did you
I
like
have a question for Sage.
Yes, sir.
You said we can let our hair down. What about for those of us that are follically challenged?
Brother, I got a wig upstairs. I can go ahead and I can put it out for you. You can put it. We had like we every now and then, usually like twice a year. We haven't done this year, but twice a year we try to do like a murder mystery night where we do like a whodunit. And we have a theme every single time. And our last theme was I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but it was a trailer park trash theme is what we had on there. So we had everybody show up in their best trailer park trash. And the worst thing about it is we didn't have enough women. So I was the one that had to show up in drag as well to be a woman because we had to have one main character as a woman in there too. So it was the worst. I showed up in a muumuu with a wig. It was just so bad. It was so bad.
That could be funny.
I like your commitment to your friends. That's wonderful.
What's that?
I like your commitment to your friends. Like that's beautiful.
Someone had to do it, and sometimes you have to bite the bullet and just take one for the team, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I need to see a photo of that, Sage.
No.
I agree.
I need to see that.
Can we get a hands raised for who needs to see
There's some
that?
on my Facebook page. If you find them on my Facebook page and scroll down far enough, good on you. I'm not volunteering them.
Might have to put that one in my files, Sage.
And that's great. Of all the files, that's great. All right, so let's start off. So who found something else interesting about someone's business that they want to share that they didn't know that thought was just awesome? Anybody at all?
I'll say that one of the things, Brian works with Apple products, and his why is that he doesn't want to see people throwing their computers out their windows, which I think is very cool. And I've been at that place where I've almost thrown my computer out. So I love to know that you exist out there.
Well, thank you.
That's awesome. Anybody else?
Well, I talked to Ron Moore, and he saves people money by whatever services you're using. His company will help you like cut your bills. And he said 80% of the time people stay with the same vendor they've always used, but his company will still get you discounts off whatever you're paying now. So I thought that was really interesting. We could all be paying less for a lot of stuff.
So every single one of you guys need to schedule a one-on-one with Ron Moore right now.
I'm gonna hire Krista as my salesperson.
There you go.
There you go. All right, making things happen. That's awesome. All right, anyone else? Dan, who are you with? I'm gonna pick on you, Dan.
I was with Kevin Youngblood, and I didn't realize he has, because he looks kind of young. I mean, he's been in construction for 40 years. That's a long time. He knows a lot about the last step that my company actually doesn't always do well, and that's just being honest. But we had a lot in common. I'm in marketing. I just talk about stuff. He actually does the stuff, and he's been in remodeling for a really long time. So I was impressed. And 5 minutes flew by the way.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. All right, I got a couple more. Who's got one they want to share? Come on off of mute. Get me up.
Okay, I was in the breakout room with Tammy. Tammy has a security clearance.
Tammy has a security clearance.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
I
Tammy
work with
has
a lot
another job.
I work with a lot of hackers and stuff like that. And
what's that?
I work with a lot of hackers and that type of stuff. So it's interesting the people I work with.
That's really cool. That's awesome.
They're
What are
so
you
hard to
hacking?
get.
They are. It's hard to get sponsored nowadays. DSS does not mess around. If you're not sponsored, they'll pull it.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Debbie, I'm going to pick on you because you're being really quiet. Who did you talk to and what did you learn?
I talked to Whitney, and besides for our mutual love of kombucha brewing, I found out that she not only does video, but animation, which people don't know about it. She doesn't do it personally, but she has a team.
I have people for that.
There's people.
That's awesome. People. I get it. That's cool. All right. Anyone else before I make this wonderful introduction?
And
Go ahead, Tammy.
Christina has experience with creative writing, which usually I only meet people who just clean up and proof things. So it's interesting to have someone who does a little bit more.
Oh, Sage, is this the Christina that you did a video introduction to me to? No, that was somebody else. Never mind.
No.
Never mind. A different writer.
I don't know. Yes, different writer. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I do so many videos. I gotta go back on that. I'm sorry, old man brain. So
You need to detox, man.
Yeah,
He's the king of connections. It's a good thing.
He's very good at that. Very generous with his introductions.
All right, guys. So before we hear from Liz, one of the biggest purposes of the group is I always say that this group is to help raise all of our knowledge and help raise all of our awareness and help us through our struggles. So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask if is anybody in the group experiencing any challenges this week or anything going on that they need help with. If not, I have one. Anybody else? All right, so I have one. So I talked to someone today who wants to be a project manager, has sales experience and wants to do sales at the same time. And I have someone on my staff right now who's doing my project management as well, who is very expensive, who is a temp, and someone that that doesn't really understand digital marketing that well. And so I met like the perfect person today, but I already have someone. So as a business owner, and especially with COVID, I'm 100% about family and business, and I wouldn't make any changes during COVID. But I'm just curious from the group, like, what do you guys feel? Do you guys feel I should humor this other person who might be a much, much better fit and actually grow sales on the business? Or do you guys feel, and if I do humor that, when is a good time? Is it like 2 months from now after COVID's completely done, 3 months from now? What do you guys think?
What makes you... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, what makes you think that COVID is going to be completely done in 2 or 3 months? They're not going to have a cure that fast.
So what then? Do I wait 6 months from now? So first off, what do you guys think about humoring this person?
What do the numbers say from the previous guy, from the guy you have now? Is he bringing in numbers, or what do they say?
So the girl that I have working right now, no, she's only doing project management, but let me just put it like this. I won't put her in front of all of my clients because of concerns.
Then you have
The
to
new
entertain
person
the other guy.
I can put in front of anyone. What's that?
Then you have to entertain the other person.
So I have to entertain the other person. So then what's the timing then? What do you guys think?
Well, did you say that this girl you have now was not a permanent hire anyway?
Well, I brought her on temporarily, but after the first month or two, she's doing a good enough job. I said, okay, I'll keep you on. And after that, she's a 1099, so she's not like a W-2, but she's a 1099, and she's doing we have a couple engagements per week, and she's working. She's doing stuff. She's involved.
How's her? Go ahead.
I was going to say, Sage, can you bring the other guy on, as a consultant and let him handle a couple things and give him a test run? Because not everything that glitters is gold.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. Bring him on as a 1099 as well, and just let him handle a couple of, smaller projects and see how it goes. And then you'll have your answer.
Okay.
Then find some other business to hire your current employee away from you.
That's a good idea too. If I have to break bad news, it'll have another door that opens up. That would be nice.
Only if that guy is as good as you think he is.
Right. Yeah.
I apologize. I missed part of it because of my kids, but I do think you need to listen to your gut too, because otherwise, my husband has employees, and he just had a bad feeling about one of them, and now he's kind of stuck with someone for a while, and you don't want to be in that situation where you get stuck with someone, but you can try and move her into certain categories where she can manage and do certain things, and then maybe bring this guy on and see where he's at, and then he can maybe do what you need, and then eventually you could do less hours with her, or and that could be, it's just not a good fit, and then you just got to listen. But I hate, you don't want to be the person letting people go, but at the same time, it is very important. I mean, you don't want to, you don't want to treat everyone fairly because they're not all the same, and different people have different specialties, and she may have a specialty or a niche that maybe you're not even thinking about right now, and that may be a better route for her. You know, maybe she's better at social media, or maybe she's better at, you know, like, who knows, like maybe there's a certain niche or something she can contribute and it's a better path for her.
That's good. That's good. Christina, you're like blowing me up. She's sending me messages and private chat and a message to everyone. Christina's got it. She's got it. So if the new PM outperforms the temp, you can phase her out. That's a good one. Right. Without employment, you're absolutely right. Kevin, on the end, what's best for you and your business. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But you guys, the hardest thing I face for a business owner is one of the biggest things I say is my culture is that I try to marry, you know, family, community, and business together. So whatever decisions I make, I want to make sure I stick to my culture. So I, you know, that evil side of me, that evil person on the shoulder is like, oh, just kick her to the curb, let her figure it out, you know, kind of deal. But I can't do that. That's just not.
Yeah, don't do that. I was just saying that to be sarcastic.
No,
since it seems like, you know, like every other employer here can just like hold on to that. If you wanted to
feedback, though, you need that honest, exact feedback as well. So I'm not saying it's bad feedback at all.
But Sage, you also have to recognize, like, all the feedback that you get, like, how does it hit you? Like, you're like, I'm not going to do that, right? So you can start to ask yourself some questions, and this will actually be a nice segue into my thing, because there are tools that you can use to help you get clarity on the information that you're getting. Okay. And I wasn't going to talk about that particular tool today, but we can another time. But there are simple somatic tools that, like, as you get information, you don't have to necessarily react to it, like, but you can say, okay, what is it trying to tell me? Like, if we know that that what Christina, you know, said, kick him to the curb, didn't resonate with you, right? So that's good. What's the next place that you can go to where you feel good, where you can take a deep breath with the decision? Your body tells you a lot.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You guys, that was great feedback. I appreciate that. I got to stew on this one because this just happened like 3 hours ago, right before my meeting with Krista. So
okay,
I never thought I'd meet someone who just fits so perfect, and at the same time wants to do sales, which, as we all know, finding a salesperson is like so hard because they're crazy. But finding someone who's like, yeah, I'll do sales and excited about it, I don't know. And it's a mythological unicorn. So,
well, wait a minute. Did you say salespeople are crazy? Isn't everyone here, in a manner of speaking, selling themselves and their business?
Absolutely.
Even somebody like me who chooses not to sell.
But how many people do you know want to sign up to a business and say, I just want to do sales, and that's all they do, and they do all the cold calling and all the cold emails and all those kind of things. So there's a certain number of things that a salesperson does that we as business owners don't take part of on a daily part of our business because we're working on the business as well. That's what I'm trying to differentiate. Someone who just is like, yeah, I'm excited about doing sales. That's where I say, okay, you're a little crazy, but I love it. All right. So based on that, anyone else have anything they want to share? Anything going on? This may help. Ask the manager. That's awesome.
She answered a question very similar to your situation a couple of years ago.
That's awesome.
Just don't look at any other entries, just that one, and don't look at the comments either.
It's like YouTube. You can't not look at the other.
Like, look right here and no
What are you
place
thinking? My wife isn't getting home till 10 o'clock tonight. So after this meeting, if I click on that link, she's going to get home and be like, what have you been doing the last 5 hours?
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I just said that one. Just look at the answer. Don't look at the comments. Don't look at any other entries.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right.
She has a podcast too.
Oh, that's great. Liz, I don't want to take any more of your time. Liz, you got 25 minutes. The floor is yours. You're already a co-host. So
okay.
For those of you who don't know Liz Kahn is a business coach personal coach. Sorry, not a personal coach either. Well, I
can introduce myself.
Coaching. What do you call it? I'm sorry.
I'm a behavioral scientist. I spent 20 years working in autism, and then I moved into mental health. I took my phenomenal tools that were able to get just ridiculous success with autistic children and flip it into helping people who suffer from anxiety and depression, utilizing very specific cognitive tools. They're super fun to use. They're very easy to learn. And I'm going to teach you one of them today. Okay. This one, it can be used in a variety of settings. And actually, let me see. I know I can share my screen. Let's figure out how to do it. All right. Are we there? Do you see? All right. So that's me. I'm going to go just straight in because as some of you who know me can attest, I can talk for days. So rather than giving you a lot of background, what I'd really like to do is just jump in and get started with teaching the tool. And that way, as things come up, please take yourselves off mute. I'd love for you to ask any questions along the way. I'm going to be looking all over the place. The basic core of what we teach here is it starts in 4 categories. We work on love, health, wealth, and self-image. Today, I'd like to pick one of those. We work in those categories to try to eliminate fear, guilt, anger, and hopelessness as drivers of our behavior and our decision-making. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. I'm trying to get a grid view here so that I can see everybody too. It's hard when I'm sharing a screen. That's all right, we'll figure it out. So normally when I'm doing workshops, we work in self-image because self-image, if you have trouble with self-image, it tends to leak into every area of your life. It also tends to be a little bit more personal. So I'm not sure if we want to go in self-image today or if we want to go straight to wealth, because this is, you know, a bunch of business owners. So can I get one hand for self-image and 2 hands for wealth? I see 2, 2, 2. I got a 1 in there. Oh goodness, it's a clear split.
How would you define self-image? I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay, so traditionally what we're talking about in terms of categories, right? We kind of take all of our emotional stuff from these different places. So love, when we're talking about love, we're really talking about connections to families, etc., connection to the people in your communities, friends, family, colleagues. Health is fairly self-descriptive. Wealth is going to be about your work or whatever brings you that joy that actually brings you earning. And then self-image is how you see yourself in the context of the world. So like I've worked with people, and again with other business owners, where I had somebody who was just like, you know, I'm awesome, I know I'm amazing, but for some reason this isn't happening. And so we get a little bit into it. I like to say that what we do here, especially what my job in this is to teach you how to use the tools so that you can deepen your process along the way. This is my DIY mental health. When I teach you the tools, you can personalize them, you can individualize them for whatever it is that is coming up in your life. So I'm going to go ahead. Maybe today we just work on love. Love is kind of broad and it covers everything, and it'll actually, we can incorporate your work into it as well. So if you look at this little grid that we have here, we've got our categories over in the far left side: love, health, wealth, and self-image. And then we move over, right? Well, we've got our objectives. We want to create an objective. And we use this word objective rather than goal, because when you define objective, it's something that you plan to achieve versus a goal, which is something that you hope to achieve. So it's all about how the words that we're using. What we're going to do with this particular tool is develop a deeper connection between your ego conscious and your subconscious. So your ego conscious meaning just your traditional thinking, you know, this is your narration of the world around you, versus your subconscious, which actually stores all your information and allows you to do a lot of things automatically, right? How many of us have ever thought, I'm going to get really mad at that and slam a door? Like, we don't think about it. It just happens, right? So no, Christina, do you think about it? You're like, this is it.
I think about it and then I'm like, No, I don't really have the energy to do this. It's not.
But when you're triggered by something, right? And this is always what it is. We get triggered by something and our emotions pop up and they take control. And is there anybody in this room who has not experienced that?
I'm just lazy.
So I don't know if I might try to put lazy in as an emotion, like, and it's almost like apathy though. Like I don't even have enough energy to deal with that. So I'm not going to. Is that kind of right?
It's really just me thinking like, oh, I really do want to be like all huffy and like slam the door, but that's gonna take some energy, and I just don't really feel like having the energy for this.
That is a very unique disposition, and I'd love to talk to you more about it.
I'd rather slam the door and get the energy out so it doesn't get used in some less productive manner.
Well, see, and this is the point, Brian, because often what happens, and for me, like I have a history of anger that, I mean, it's just insane. Everybody who knew me before I learned these tools they would work really hard to walk on eggshells around me because I would get triggered and then the eyebrow would go up and my head would cock and just watch out. Because it was not about an energy thing for me. It was all the stuff that was stuck inside that I stifled that would just fall out and it would attack people. And I didn't have control over it. That was the biggest problem. I didn't have control. The emotion then controlled me. And so the purpose of these tools is to not even just shift position. I don't want to always be in control and have to think about every little thing that I do. I want to connect in a more meaningful way with that emotional process. Now, the foundation of this program is that our emotional process lies in the core of the subconscious. So what happens is something happens out in the world, and then we go, what just happened? And by asking that question, our subconscious provides an answer, usually in the form of an image. We replay what just happened, and then we go, and then emotion, behavior, word, picture, emotion, behavior. And if we can use that cycle, like where is the best place to intervene? Now remember, I'm a behavioral scientist. It's always about finding the tool to intervene to get ahead of the problem. So this is not about coping with something. It's about getting ahead of something so you don't have to cope with it. Does that make sense? So let's get into the tool because I promised I wasn't going to talk and we were just going to do this. And let's go ahead. Wealth. Okay, so we're going to go with wealth. Now, first, we're going to create an objective for wealth. Is there anybody in the room who feels like they want to be on my hot seat with me today? I love it. I love it. All right, I'm going to pick on Whitney because she picked on me last week, and it was awesome.
Dude, I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm scared. I ain't scared. I am. Oh, no, I am a little bit.
There's no reason to be scared. We're good. I was scared of my pitch slap, but it worked out well. I think it's going to work out well for you too.
Thank you.
So what is one of your objectives? Let's just pick one objective for wealth.
I thought everyone's objective there was the same, which is to be amazingly, just like the Scrooge McDuck bathing in dollar bills.
As soon as you did this,
I totally knew
it was Scrooge McDuck. I knew that's what you were thinking. Oh my God.
I've had that exact same image too. I totally have.
Yeah. Okay. That is not the truth though. So my thing around wealth is I'm open to the kimono, as a friend of mine likes to say. My thing around wealth is I have a love-hate relationship with wealth. I sabotage myself sometimes. I play small when it comes to like asking for business and bidding on project. Krista and I had a conversation this morning and I was like, okay, I'm going to ask you for your business. This is hard for me. This is awkward. Do you want to work with me? You know, I get ridiculous about it. I'm baller in so many other areas, but this trips me up every time.
I love it. This is actually fantastic. And thank you so much for sharing.
I'm glad that my strange weirdness is fantastic for you. Thank you.
I got to tell you, it is not strange weirdness. And not to put other people on the spot, but I would guarantee that at least half the people in this room have also experienced this.
Okay.
Right? So your sharing is you're opening all of our kimonos and it's fantastic. It's great. Okay. So we have our objective here. And the objective, we're just going to make it an I statement, right? And not only that, we're going to make it an I absolutely must statement.
Oh,
Okay. I absolutely must reconcile this love-hate relationship I have with wealth. Okay. And I'm going to make sure that everybody has this PDF that I'm sharing on my screen. But right now, go ahead and work and play with me. Grab a pen or pull up a note. I absolutely must reconcile this love-hate relationship I have with wealth. We can even do the next one is I absolutely must stop self-sabotaging. Like eliminate self-sabotage from my business.
okay.
Okay, I absolutely must. So what is the next block over to the right? It says reason. Why? Why is it important that you reconcile this love-hate relationship? What changes for you when you no longer have that conflict of the love-hate?
Are you looking for a mental change, a tangible change?
What are you looking for? Why is it important for you to change this love-hate state? What will change in your life and in your business when you no longer feel that?
Because no one is helped when I play small.
So then you'll be able to help people better because you'll be playing bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can help solve bigger problems. And when I create more income for myself, I'm able to be more generous with the things that matter to me.
I love that. Okay, so I'm taking notes here too.
Okay.
Because we're going to do more with this in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So now this is like, do you remember in math class back before, there was new math and we actually had scratch paper and we would write things down? That's what we're doing right now. This is our scratch paper.
Okay.
So now we've got our reason. Oh, do you want to do another, what's your reason for not wanting to self-sabotage anymore? What's going to change for you? Same thing?
Yeah, it's for me, it's all related. Yeah.
Yeah. You help more, go bigger. Love it.
Yep.
Okay. The next thing. What do you think you need to do in order to reconcile that love-hate relationship and to stop self-sabotaging? What do you think you need to do?
I think part of it is just doing it. What's the expression? Feel the fear and do it anyway. So even when it comes out awkward, and Krista was very kind with me this morning, I was like, okay, this is gonna suck, but I promised myself I would ask. I mean, it wasn't quite that bad, I hope. At least on the inside, it felt that bad.
Sure.
Hopefully it didn't look that bad and weird on the outside. So you just have to do it. So comfort comes from repetition.
Yes. So so this is what you're currently doing?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that you think you need to be doing that you might not be doing?
Oh, I'm sure there is. But if I knew what it was, I'd be doing it, Liz. That's what you're for.
See, that's the interesting thing. Okay, we'll get back to that. We will get back to that. Because oftentimes we know what we're supposed to be doing, but we're not doing it. And so there's some resistance there. Okay. And if there isn't any resistance for you, that's beautiful. But if anybody else has anything, and you can either share it here or share it privately, however you want. Sometimes we know we're supposed to do things, but I don't want to. Or something else comes up. Or, synchronicity happens and it just doesn't get done. And I let myself off the hook. It's okay. It's okay. This is our scratch paper. We're getting all the information out. The next thing, so if you know what to do and you're already doing it, why haven't you already, this is our excuses, why haven't you already reconciled this issue of love-hate?
Is it hot in here or is it
Right.
just me? Oh
I know, right? I love you,
really
Whitney.
deep. Oh my gosh.
So, what are our excuses?
And I think the whole problem with me, this love-hate relationship, is kind of rooted in some childhood head trash.
That is all you need to say. Okay. I love that.
Okay.
Yes. And anybody else?
What makes it trash?
No. My turn.
Snap, Brian.
No. Thank you. No, and that's the beauty of this, because we don't have to go super deep for you to have incredible results and get you off the track that's keeping you stuck. So, okay, rooted in childhood. What was the word you said?
Head trash.
Head trash.
And it's trash because it doesn't serve me, Brian.
Yes. Precisely.
And
Oh, I love it.
intellectually, I know that, right? My sensible wheat side knows that. But my frosted wheat side is still kind of tripped up every now and then.
The ego conscious is fully aware. The subconscious is scared. And that is what we're going to address today, having that communication. Okay. So when you hear your objective, I absolutely must eliminate this love-hate relationship I have with wealth. I absolutely must eliminate self-sabotage from my business practice. What does the little critter voice say in your head?
A little critter voice in my head says, those are not new statements. What are my tools?
I love it. Anything else? No? Anybody else?
Not really. Yeah.
Anybody else who
chime in if this is reflective of what anybody else's experience is. I would love to
Say
hear
the
it.
question one more time, please.
So the question is, like, when you hear this objective that I absolutely must reconcile this love-hate relationship with wealth, and I absolutely must eliminate self-sabotage from my business, like, when I hear that, I go, sure, like, that's going to happen. Seriously, does anybody else have a little voice inside them that goes, oh, come on?
I have my tool voice yelling back at or suggesting back at me to lose the must.
Interesting. We'll come back to that. We will, because that's all about mindset.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to that because
I have the voice that says, well, what if they really need help, or what if they really need it? And it's always about undervaluing my own contribution.
I have the same. Yeah, I think we're very similar. I just want to help someone. I really, and the nicer they are or whatever, I just really want to help people. And I want people to succeed. And I think it goes back to as a child and how I was treated. And I wish someone would lift me up. And now I have the way of doing that to someone else. And that's what I feel like I just need to help.
I want to give what I never got.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I love that.
I'm very big on equality, and I hate when there's a small business or someone getting started and they're not on the same footing as other companies that are similar. And all I want to do is lift them up so they have this even playing field. Like I'm very big on equality. I just want it even playing field for everyone.
Wouldn't that be lovely? And I've been posting videos every day on Facebook, like 1-minute videos, and a lot of them are based on the frustration that I'm hearing from other people that it's precisely that. So like, what are the steps that we can individually take? I'm getting ahead of myself. Debbie knows. She's been to my workshops. So we have just done our objective, our reason that our objective is important, what we think we need to do, the excuses that we have, and it says questions there, but it's really like, what is the initial thing that comes to your mind when you start thinking about your objectives? Yes, Sage.
Well, what was the what to do?
Well, that's what you think you need to do, right? So this is when Whitney said, I know I need to do this, this, and this. And she's doing them, which is
reason. Okay, I put that in the wrong thing. I understand what you're saying. Okay.
So we have an objective, and our why essentially is our reason for wanting it, right? Like, why is I want $1 million? Why? Because I want to have money to swim in? No, because when my tire blows, I don't want to worry about my mortgage payment, right? Like, that's why. What do I think I need to do? Well, I need to make more money. I need to get more clients. I need to help more people, right?
Yeah.
So these are the things I think I need to do. And then my excuse is, why haven't I done it yet? I've been trying. I don't know how. I don't have the right tools. I've got 1,000,001 excuses for not yet being successful in it. Do you see where I'm going with that?
Mm-hmm.
And the longer I remain in those excuses, the longer it'll take to get me moving forward. And then this last part, the questions, right? Sometimes we ask ourselves questions. Sometimes we scoff. When I first learned these tools, when we were going through love, it was like, I absolutely must be more loving and respectful towards my family. And my initial thought, like, I could feel it from my toes all the way up to my brain. It was just like, no, they need to be more loving and respectful to me. I didn't have any questions about it. It was just a clear statement. And it doesn't matter because we just want to get the words out. Okay? We're going to move on to the next because I'm looking at the time and I want to be very respectful of everybody's time. So we're going to move into the next part of this. So we used our scratch paper. We're going to turn everything into what we call an empowering question. Empowering questions are very specific. They have a structure to them. Imagine the last time you did something like this and did a presentation and it didn't go well. How did you talk to yourself at the end of it, right? Did you say, I can't believe I'm such an idiot. How did I screw that up so bad? Or did you say, well, that didn't go well. What can I do better next time? Right? The structure of an empowering question is taking reality into consideration and then looking for a solution or looking for something that is better. This is not bright siding. This is not, reframing. This is simply saying, well, that didn't work. What's going to be better? So then we go into, we have this wonderful thing called empowering prefixes. I want to take the statements that we just made with Whitney and turn them all into empowering questions. And I want each of you to be doing this too, so that you will leave with 5 questions today that will help you feel that you are more connected to the most powerful part of yourself, and that is your subconscious. Are you with me? Do you have any questions?
I'm with you so far.
Yeah? Everybody, are we excited? So I want you to take a look at some of these prefixes. The first one is, how can I? Thanks, Christina, I dance too. All questions are answered differently. So I want you to think about this. Are all questions that you ask yourself are answered? So think about the last time you recognized somebody, but you couldn't remember their name. And you're like, oh, what is that person's name? What is that person's name? It comes to you, maybe not immediately, not when you need it, but it will come to you. And the more you practice asking questions and listening for the answers, the more quickly and clearly your answers will come. When you ask questions like, what steps can I take? You might get a list of steps to take. When you ask questions like, how can I? The issue might just fade away. When you ask, how can I best detach from or disconnect from something? Again, you might just recognize that you are not as triggered by things. So let's go and move on to, oh wait, I put a note here because I knew this was a big deal.
And you said you'd share this with us, right?
I will.
Super. Thank you.
So the last question on this says, why do I feel this emotion right now? And I want to be very clear. Why is a trap, okay? When you ask yourself why what you're doing is coming up with an excuse generator, you will come up with all of the reasons. Why did that just happen? Why did I do so poorly on that presentation? Oh, well, you were out late drinking last night and you didn't plan properly. And they're all true. Okay, they're all true answers. Your subconscious is only going to tell you the truth, but they won't necessarily serve you. So we want to be very careful about how you're asking questions to yourself. So now we're going to go back to Whitney's statements. Okay, the first statement was, I absolutely must reconcile this love-hate relationship I have with wealth. So I want to structure this and turn it into a question. And I see we're going to run low on time. So if anybody has to leave at 5, I'm so sorry. But if you can stay, we're going to get through these 5. Sage, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so let me wrap it up. For those who do have a 5 o'clock meeting, Liz, I just need to take 2 minutes and then I'll give it back over to you guys. So we are going to run over. So before we leave, I want to remind you guys about the No Agenda Business Chat Facebook page. For those of you who joined the page, thank you so much. For those of you who haven't, please request from one of your friends, someone who's on here and knows about how to get on the page. All of these videos are recorded and I save all of those. So throughout, once you're a member of the group, you can see all the old ones. You can see how Whitney beat up Liz last week and now she's returning the favor this week. You can see all of the good recordings in the past. There's been some really valuable classes that we've done over time here. So those of you who have been here for a while. I do need a speaker for next week. So if anyone wants to speak next week, I need you to reach out to me and let's chat. I'm working on a couple of speakers to try to get the backlog full. But again, guys, if you want to speak, come on. And remember, it's just about just giving value, giving something to the group that we can give. Ultimately, the more we train people on some of the things that are going on in our lives, the more people will come to us because they need help actually executing on those things. That's ultimately, that's the best clients we can always hope for. with that, the very last thing, Tammy, thank you for coming on. So I met Tammy through Nova, which is Tammy's group. So Tammy, if you don't mind, I want to give you just a few minutes just to chat about your group, please.
Oh, so I was just trying to find groups like this, places where you could just meet people, and it was really hard. So I just created my own meetup. It's called the Nova Business Rebels. So if you just go to Meetup and look that up, but it's not like any memberships or fees. You just sign up whenever you can, and you just meet other people, and you each get 5 minutes to talk about what you do and show some personality. It's not your 30-second sales pitch. So I think.
Thank you. And I said, I've been to a couple of Tammy's meetings now. I'm trying to go to more, but it's so hard. I have struggled sometimes to get in there, but I've always had a great time. I've always met some good people. Richard is also in her group as well. And just an awesome dude. So I encourage you guys in chat, private messages, set up some one-to-ones and meet people and talk to people in the group. We've got some really, really great people. So, and with that, I'm going to turn the rest over to Liz. So Liz, it's all yours. Keep going, please.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as possible because I definitely want you to have this, but I want to give it its due respect too. So the first statement was I absolutely must reconcile this love-hate relationship with wealth. If as the questions expert here, I would like to offer my assistance in creating a really powerful question, if you'll accept that.
Oh, that's pretty much what I'm counting on you to do, Liz.
Fantastic. So
that's what the money's for, Liz.
Right, I know, right? So the thing about the empowering question, you know that it's working for you when your body moves, right? So if you hear a question or read it and you're like, yes, and you're leaning in, this is a good sign. If you're backing up, we know it's not a good question for you. So I'm just going to be watching while we're doing this. So potentially what we want to do here, and we can take it in two ways depending on how your mind works. I'm a bit of a hedonist. I like things to be easy. I go with how can I almost every time, okay? So for me, it might be, how can I easily reconcile my relationship with wealth so that it works for me? How can I easily reconcile my relationship with wealth so that it works for me? Mm-hmm. You may want to dig deeper and say, what is at the root of my conflict with wealth? And how can I resolve it with ease? Right. So again, hedonist, I'm always going to go for a way to do that. And that question, we don't have to seek an answer for. The answer will come, not unlike that person's name that you thought you forgot.
It was Danielle. That was the person.
I'm really glad you had that.
Yeah, thank you.
The next question that would be about self-sabotage, okay? How can I eliminate self-sabotage from my repertoire, period? That's going to go across the board, across the categories. Mm-hmm. How can I eliminate self-sabotage from my repertoire? Or how can I make sure that self-sabotage does not enter in any of my business engagements? Sage.
Okay, what's the typical answer on self-sabotage? Other than putting like a shock collar on you and say, every time I'm doing this, now my wife shocked the hell out of me. I mean, it's an obvious thing, but like what's realistic here?
So the realistic thing is that everybody's answer is different. There is not a single person on earth who's going to be able to help you come or to give you an answer that doesn't come from you. When you ask your subconscious a very specific and pointed question, the answer will come. Or it's like the clouds clear and something is more visible to you. I have been told 3 times by 3 doctors that I was going to die. And when I started asking, oh yeah, I've got a whole medical history. But when I started asking myself, what are the resources that I didn't know existed that can help save my life? I found an entire holistic world, but I didn't even know I could look for them. And so this is the point. Self-sabotage, it's something that's within, and you can literally say, how can I eliminate self-sabotage from this? You'll start to see yourself, or you'll feel yourself falling into it and go, oh, that's not what I want to do. Your answer has to be your own. Other people's answers just don't work. And shock collars don't work either. They're aversives, and there's a whole lot of science behind that. So that's our first, right? You've got 2 questions there that are actually going to cover all 4 categories, but we're going to focus on wealth. Why, right? You want to help more by playing bigger. Do you have a question?
I do.
Yeah.
I've previously been told, and I read a lot about phrasing what you want in a positive way rather than not saying, I want less of that. Because what you think about expands and your subconscious is
Right.
still
This is the
attached to
backwards
that
law.
thing you don't want.
Right.
Yeah.
I want more clients. I am aware I don't have more clients, right?
Right.
Um,
How does
and
that
this-
play into it?
Well, for basic learning, like the thing with this is that we want to use the words of your subconscious. We want to use your fear's words so that you can. How many times have we talked about with sales? You know, when you're talking to that potential client, you want to use their words back because they hear them better. So there are times where we will switch and go to the contraposition.
Okay.
And you could right now, you could absolutely say, how can I make sure that I am bold, strong, and confident in all of my business dealings? And you could have both. But you can be bold, strong, and confident and still undermine yourself. So we want to make sure that self-sabotage, which is your subconscious's words, gets addressed.
Okay.
I don't want to be disrespectful to that. So I can help more by playing bigger. I'll be able to be more generous. What steps can I take in my business that will allow me to play bigger? Where do I want to shower my generosity?
Right.
And you can pull in some law of attraction stuff too. Where do I want to shower my generosity with all of this new wealth that I'm able to accrue? Right? Now that I'm not self-sabotaging. The things you think you need to do, just do it. Well, Whitney, you said you already are doing it, but for the rest of us who know what we need to do but aren't doing it, a good question is, how can I get out of my own way so I can get done what needs to be done? What two things need to get done today so that I can feel satisfied with my work? Because there's more to this. We've got structure, but then we've got timing. All right. Are we ready to move on to our excuses? This one's fun. It was rooted in childhood head trash. This one is great. How can I best detach from my childhood head trash so that I'm able to thrive in my adult life? How can I best detach from my childhood head trash so that I'm able to thrive in my adult life? I love that. I just got chills. I'm making these up as we go along, friends. That's how awesome this is, right? These are not new statements. Where are my tools, right? That's what you said. This isn't new. Where are my tools?
Right.
How can I get on, or well, let's see. How can I utilize effectively so that I can start walking this talk with confidence? How can I utilize my tools more effectively? Now, for the rest of us, right, we had the, what if they really need me? I'm going to undervalue myself. I want to give what I never got. How can I make sure I'm giving what is needed while still making sure that I'm taking care of what I need to? How does that feel for you guys? What does it do for you when you hear these questions?
These are good. I mean, my set point, I'm an optimistic person, so my set point is generally I would rather put the positive out there and say that's what I want.
Sure.
And continue to think about the negative. And you know, of course, this is a work in progress. I have to be really disciplined. I'm still like forcing myself to do it.
Okay.
It's not a new natural habit yet.
Okay, then I want you to add one more question.
Okay.
How can I incorporate this so that everything I'm doing is natural and not forced?
Okay.
Okay. Now, you've got your questions. What do you do with them? You think that just writing them is going to be enough? No. I mean, it'll give you a little pump because now your subconscious is like, yeah, I kind of like that. Let's do more like that. It is so important that you read your questions, because the more you read your questions, the more you focus on them, the more your subconscious stays focused on it, and the more quickly your answers will come. I'm sorry, I'm looking through this real quick. It is so important that you don't get distracted along the way. And there are so many things that distract us. So the fun thing about this is you're going to read your questions at night when you're tired, last thing before you go to sleep. You want to read them in the morning when you're still a little groggy. I write them on my bathroom mirror. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I wrote one on my bathroom mirror a few years ago, and it said, what can I do today that will make me feel proud? I read it every day. I saw it every time you go to the bathroom. You see the question. You don't even have to actively read it because your subconscious picks it up. And a few days in, my husband comes home and he goes, I'm so proud of myself today. I've done this. And I was like, that was my question. That wasn't for you.
That wasn't yours.
But that's my point. Like, it seeps in and your subconscious will do the work. It's already doing it. So what you're doing is guiding it. And Whitney, you're absolutely right. I love to look at the things that I want and not the things that I don't want. But I also need to know that the things that I don't want are there for a reason, right? All of my resistance, all of it, those are emotions that are stuck, that I've trapped, that I've pushed down, that I've chosen not to look at, but they're still having an impact on me. So sometimes I have to say, how can I stop this pattern of self-sabotage so that I can move on to the next chapter in my life? And then you say, what do I want that next chapter to look like? And that's when you get into the next tool. So there are 7 tools that I teach, and they are phenomenal. And I've just taught you one, and you guys can all have this framework. And if you have any questions, my information is right there on it. So you can always call me. It's not a pitch. I will seriously talk to anybody about this. For forever. I love these tools, and I love to share them with people. And if you have any questions, I'm going to try to, I know it's 10 after. So if you have any questions, I'd love to answer what I can, because only you can answer your deep questions. Thank you.
Round of applause. Round of applause. There you go.
That is my gift for you at the No Agenda Business Chat.
Thank you so much.
Drink my booch to that.
Thanks,
you guys,
Liz. That was great.
I think you should all schedule a one-on-one with Liz.
Liz and I had an amazing one-to-one yesterday afternoon. She can talk a lot. It was seemingly endless, but I'm just kidding. Oh my God, we had so much fun talking about crystal skulls, and she fell off a mountain, and her trip to San Francisco, living in San Francisco. Oh my God, it was so much fun.
I just saw the documentary on the crystal skull myth the other day. I was watching the whole hoax.
See, Linda?
Yep.
Sorry, that's a whole other meeting.
It's a whole other meeting. But
if you want an elevated experience in a one-to-one, reach out to Liz.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you. Well, thank you for coming today. I love this stuff. I love to share, and never a pitch. Like, if you want to figure out this particular tool, just give me a call. We will just sit and, like Linda said, we'll have an endless conversation, and it'll be wonderful.
Awesome. Liz, thank you so much for sharing today. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. Thank you so much. That was awesome. As I said, I encourage you guys all to schedule a one-to-one with Liz. She's a wealth of knowledge and just a great person. She really does wear her heart on her sleeve, and she really does care and is a giver. So thank you so much. Anyone have any parting things you want to share with the group? Anything at all before we head out?
This was awesome. I look forward to it next week.
I just
Thanks
wanted
for inviting me.
I just wanted to mention, if anyone knows of anybody who needs a resume cleaned up, I know a lot of us have family and friends who may be looking for jobs, just send them to us and we're cleaning them up for free. So yeah, so just reach out to Altered Edge and we'll make them look professional and hopefully get them their next job. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you say you have a group? Sage said you have a group.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. It's novabusinessrebels.org will take you there, but it's on Meetup. It's at Nova Business Rebels on Meetup.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
Nova, like Northern Virginia?
Like Northern Virginia. But we have Maryland, DMV, all these people are popping in. And we have people from Alaska and Pennsylvania. We just, it's whoever.
It's the best thing about COVID is connecting people all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, well, everyone,
weekend.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks,
If you want
everybody.
to chat and you want to come on and talk about whatever it is, hit me up on an email and let's talk about it and come up with something great. Look forward to seeing you guys all next week.
Thank
you.
Bye.
Bye.
forgot to hit save. Here we go.
Just you and I. Look at
There we go.
that.
I
It's
saved
good
my
seeing you so much. I'm so
You
glad
too.
you
And
made it. I'm so glad you made it to my meeting.
Yeah, and I was just talking to someone like right before. That's why I was a little